Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson here with you, day 15 with the Enlightened Women Enlightened Youth Summit. And I am so excited today to have ShaRon with us. And it's going to be quite a show. I can tell you that already. So, ShaRon, do you want to come on and say hello?
Good morning, everyone. I'm here in sunny but cool for a change, Arizona. Thank you for joining us all.
Great. And Terry Angel, why don't you start us out with an intention for this meeting?
I would love to. Good morning, everybody. So let's connect our hearts together. Just touch your heart center and take a deep breath in slowly and then back out slowly. Let's add in some gratitude, some self-love. Really give yourself a big hug and feel that love in your heart. And continue to do that as I read our intention for the day. Our intention today is that we feel into unconditional love. May we treat ourselves and others without criticism or judgment, knowing that we are all united in source energy. May Divine Mother and Archangel Michael show us how we are mirrored in each other. May we respect and honor ourselves as the spiritual beings that we are, perfect in God's eyes, and strive to live in alignment with our authentic voice. May we reach our hands out to our fellow beings to lift them up, because in doing so, we will rise together to greater heights. And so it is done. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. You always set a beautiful intention for our time together, and it just takes us right into where we're supposed to go. That's great. I wanted to share a couple of things before we share ShaRon's video. So number one, if anybody is called to write a chapter for the anthology, please reach out. There is a form that is to be filled out, and I am so happy to help anybody through that process. And if you want to, just reach out to me. My email is openclinic1@outlook.com. And second thing I wanted to share, I got my copy of Many Were Called, Few Were Chosen. This is by Dr. Heather Harder. She was our guest speaker the other day with her daughter, Stacy. And this book is one of the appreciation gifts if you sign up for the All Access Pass. So it's great. I was looking through it yesterday, and Dr. Harder has said she would share with us 300 copies of this book, which is beyond gracious, I think. And Linda Dirks is providing 200 copies of her book. So please, let's take advantage of the generosity that they're sharing with us here. So let's go ahead and we're going to share ShaRon's video. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson with Enlightened World Network. Welcome to this episode of Enlightened Women. Grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage, settle in, and join us. Enlightened Women is a show about women who are living lives, walking in alignment with their soul's calling. In these episodes, we not only talk about what these amazing women are up to, but what they are currently learning as a spiritual being having a physical experience. This series is the brainchild of Archangel Michael, but Divine Mother has also been present during some of the interviews. This morning in meditation, she showed me that she would be with me today and shared her hopes that this conversation with our guest would touch the hearts and souls who heard it. Today, I have the honor of introducing you to ShaRon Ria. ShaRon is a champion for outstanding family relationships. She's an author and a speaker and owner of the Whole Family Coaching. ShaRon, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited.
I love that. So ShaRon, in lieu of reading your bio, please share with us what has brought you to this place in your life today?
Life. Seriously, I am of an age where I've had a number of decades of living here on this earth. And I am a happy person. I'm a positive, optimistic person. And in the before ShaRon spiritual and the after ShaRon spiritual is pretty stark, but with an underlying sense of I'm still me. The before ShaRon was happy in make-believe. So certain circumstances outside of myself, my job, my relationships, my weight, where I was living, those are the things that caused me to either be really, really happy or really, really sad. And there was not a little in between. So I was married to a wonderful man for 21 years. We saw the world opposite. And so opposites attract. And then if they don't move forward together, they kind of have a lot of friction. And we had a lot of friction. So I decided, I remember very clearly standing next to the wall in my kitchen saying, okay, football, there's a goal on this side and there's a goal on this side. And I'm either really happy or really sad, and that's tiring. It drains my energy. It's not really who I am. So I said, I want to live more near the 50-yard line. Where, not that I don't deny my extreme happiness or my extreme sadness, but I move myself more to the middle. From that place, I chose to shift and change our family through a divorce. And that, Ruth, was the catalyst for the after ShaRon.
So tell me about that after ShaRon. Did you start to have some inclination of spirit being involved in your life before you actually decided to divorce, or really was it as a result of the divorce?
It was a little bit before, not fully, but I have a friend who is a channel and a medium, and we were on our community homeowners association board together, so we spent a lot of time together. And in being around her and listening to her, she was able to open my mind to what spirituality was, that there was something other than this earthly plane that was guiding us. So I had some awareness, and it was like the most delicious cake you could. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it was new for me. It didn't have any of these tools. This has probably been about 11 years ago. So this is still pretty fresh in my spirit to know that there is something beyond that not only gives me hope that, because so many things here, if you only think about life from here, it's very difficult to have hope. And so once I understood a little bit about it, it gave me the courage after 21 years to say, I really would like to live fully before I die. And this is not living. No one in this family is happy. Not me, not my former husband, and not our 2 daughters. So I have to be courageous to change this so we have the opportunity, all of us, to live a full and authentic life.
And that did take a great deal of courage.
It was courage that if I had known how much courage it would take in the moment I made that decision, I would have dug a hole and crawled in. Because, oh my goodness, Ruth, I'm telling you, living a spiritual life is not for sissies. It's just, it is bang, zoom, to the moon, Alice. It's just a lot of things coming at you. As I understand it, as I went along, it's me bringing those things to me to learn and grow. But in the beginning, I just had no idea, and it kept getting worse and harder and sadder and frustrating. And if I didn't have not only my good friend to help me, but my own desire to live differently through a spiritual perspectives and teachings and my own discovery, my own intuition, I don't know where I would have been. So yeah, it takes, to me, any life you live, whether you're going through cancer, whether you're going through a divorce, whether you're happily going along, because happily going along can get really much more than you expect. So all of us, I think, obviously we are all spirit having this human life, but living it is very different than just talking about it.
Yes, it is. And to me, that's what I call talking the talk versus walking the walk. And when you're really walking the walk, it takes courage on a daily basis. I don't know about you, but when I get up in the morning and I connect in with spirit, I literally get a to-do list of either people to talk to or things to do for the day. And there are some days that I think, I don't want to do that. I don't know that person. They're going to think I'm crazy if I reach out and say, Archangel Michael asked me to call you today. But I have taken those risks, and every time I do, I feel like Archangel Michael and the other archangels and Divine Mother go, okay, she's willing to listen. She's willing to do what we're asking. And then they give me more things that stretches me even further. How much have you been stretched as a person during the last 11 years?
Oh my goodness. I don't really recognize the before ShaRon, other than to say she felt somewhat genuine, but mostly plastic. And I mean that sincerely, because in being unhappy in our marriage for so long, I pretended. Raising our children, I didn't really know what was best for them, not only because now I'm a parenting coach and I have more understanding of child development, but it was only about getting them to get along and kind of not be yourself, but just get along. I'm an only child, and that created a lot of challenges for me. So I'm different because I embraced what I felt were probably guidance, which I didn't know in the beginning it was guidance, because things would come out of my mouth that were not my usual conversation. I'll give you specifics. When I decided that I had to transition our family, and you see the words I'm choosing, these words I'm choosing are not the words that most people talk about when they talk about divorce. Because my first goal, my very first goal was what I said. I want to live my life fully before I leave this earth. And this right here, what we're doing, is not that. The second thing I said was, I don't want to hate this man that I've lived 21 years with and who I have children with. I have to find, because at that moment, hate was really close. And it played out a lot to challenge me. Did you really mean that? And so I said, I don't want to hate him. I want to wind up being either friends or at least acknowledging his value in our family. And we didn't want either one of those things. Then I remember sitting in a room by myself, because the transition through divorce was horrific. We were court ordered to live together. I couldn't leave. I mean, just a lot of things that were coming at you like boulders of planets. But I sat in that room and I said, okay, I'm getting ready to make a decision that a lot of people are going to be puzzled by. A lot of people are not going to agree with me. Who do I care in this whole world about what they're going to say about me or to me when I make this choice? And I, in my mind's eye, placed everyone that was in my world. Is it my neighbors? Is it him? And when I got to our children, I said, I cannot care what they think. And not caring doesn't mean I'm not going to parent them and have empathy, but I can't let it affect my decision. Because this decision is coming from a place that I don't really know. Now I know where it came from. It's my inner being, my soul saying, okay, you've lived this path. We've been trying knocking on the door when you were 7 years, when it was 14 years, 21 years now. Time to move on. So your soul, your spirit knows what your trajectory is. And it also, I believe, is compassionate enough to know that it's hard to live outside of the norm of this, especially United States. And it does take courage. It takes commitment. It takes willingness, all of that. So I said, I'm going to have empathy for how they feel, but I cannot let them change my decision. And from that point, I made the choice.
So again, courage. And what modeling you showed your daughters of doing the right thing based on your soul knowing what the right thing was for you.
Yes.
Wow.
And I want to share with your viewers something that was profound that happened when I made that decision. Because in the before ShaRon, in the plastic ShaRon, the make-believe one that was trying to keep up this image of, once I made the choice to live my life on my terms, most of my neighbors and friends going, what took you so long? We knew this wasn't the right relationship for so long. Even our daughters had those comments to me, like, Mom and Dad, you guys are great, but not together. So it just, again, affirmed for me that I share with you, Ruth, and you probably have the same perspective. Yes, it takes courage to live from your own voice. But when you do that, people recognize in you that they have a voice. And you become, like you said, the model of how to live this way without even talking to anyone, without trying to preach or without trying to influence. You just live your life, and those vibrations move out to the people that are ready on the precipice to make their choices of what they've been. I hear it, I feel it, I know it. Can I really do this? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's almost like birthing yourself, even project by project sometimes.
Can I tell you a quick story about birthing myself? Oh my gosh, this was so visible. And what I started embracing, Ruth, is that, and I love Mikey. Hi, Michael, how are you? And Mother Mary. So it's like playing chess and Pictionary, because whoever's out there on the other side or across the veil, however you want, they're right here. They're just in another room. And they like to, I believe, this is what happens for me, they put little signs and symbols and things, and if you pay attention to them, you get the picture, the puzzle on the front of the box, you get the whole story. So I went on a spiritual journey to England and France with this friend who was helping me understand what spiritual life was about. We were 3 days in Paris, 3 days in London, and 10 days in, 3 days in London and 10 days in the countryside of England. That's right. And then I went to Paris. In those 3 days in London, the first day I saw all these women that were a little bit pregnant. And I just thought, all right, well, somebody's happy over here in England. The next day, they were like 6 months pregnant. And not the same people, and not very many of them, but we'd go to the park and I'm like, she's pregnant. And then, so it just kind of, all right. And then we left England, we went on this journey. And one day, I forget which day it was, everybody was looked like they were ready to pop. I mean, just pop. And I only saw maybe 2 or 3 people. So it started to get in my mind. The last day of this spiritual journey, I walk outside from having breakfast, and biggest day on the side of this building was this mom holding a baby, newborn baby. And I was like, what is going on? So my girlfriend is a medium. And so I said, would you ask? And we were channeling the spirit, Dr. Peebles. Thank you, Dr. Peebles. And he said, this is you giving birth to you. Now, the question is, what are you going to do with this new life?
Wow, how profound is that? And did you listen?
Oh my goodness. I was working for a very famous nonprofit. I took my 10 days off to do this spiritual journey. I had not been enjoying this job because I like to do things creative, and this organization wanted me to fit in a box. which again is a metaphor for my life, fitting in a box. And when I got back, I sat at my desk and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. My boss called me into her office. She said, and she was crying. She said, "ShaRon, I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to let you go." And I was like, yes. Who gets excited that they get let go? And she's like, that is definitely not the reaction that I expected you would give. And I said, this is business. You don't want what I have right now. We have done this journey for 2 years. It's time for us to go. Mwah, thank you, and have a good life, because I know I am.
I love it. So you then became a family relationship counselor.
And the journey to get there was a little small job with a government agency here called First Things First. And I'm in, Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was the community outreach person, and my job was to help parents understand the value and the importance of their children from birth to 5, and what kind of world they would create around them. Birth to 5 is great, but not my favorite age of children because I love middle schoolers and high schoolers and people that can talk with me. And so in doing that, I discovered, oh my, there's something called parenting classes. Never heard of it. Totally valuable. I wasn't enjoying this job fully. It took me away from my kids. I wasn't able to make dinner, all those sorts of things. So it was 2008. And if everyone remembers 2008, that was the time of what most people call the downturn of the economy. I think it was the essence of opportunity to me. And so I remember quitting my job after 3 months of having the job and saying, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this isn't it. So universe, help me figure it out. I decided that I wanted to teach parenting classes, didn't know how to be an entrepreneur, didn't know what I was going to do. And the road, the spirit, yourself, the universe will rise up and meet you when you make your authentic choice and scoop you along to your own level of movement. So effortlessly, the name of my company came, The Whole Family Coaching. Somehow in my spirit, the underscore of that, which is my global message, no judgment, just love, came to me. And that is how I coach. That's how I live. I didn't know how to, be a LLC or a nonprofit. Went to the bank, they helped me. Just like everything moved right along. And so, yes, now I am a champion for relationships in your family. And your family includes you. So the first place to have an authentic, like I shared with this journey, relationship is with you. That's where the real courage begins. And I remember, Ruth, just like you said to Michael, I'm willing, or they said to you, she must be willing. I deliberately said, okay, I'm willing. Show me. Where am I meant to be? Who am I meant to inspire? How am I meant to grow? And oh boy, be careful what you ask for.
I love that. ShaRon, you and I were talking about how often when you see light workers or spiritual transformation artists, I would say, on Facebook, they're coming across as if they've got their entire life together and everything's perfect. Because frankly, that's when we tend to post.
Yes.
But it isn't always that way. I mean, as a light worker, we still have struggles, either with other people or with health. And you, as a family relationship expert, even you have struggles within your own family. You want to share a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. We together, my former husband and I, have 2 daughters, and they're 6 years apart. So the older one right now is 28, and the younger one is 22. And in most families, unbeknownst to us parents, which is a reality in many families, everybody's different. Every child is different. And yet we think that because we parent them the same, they should turn out the same. Well, they don't. So my older daughter and I have no relationship. We don't talk to each other. We don't see each other. I don't know where she lives. I don't know what she's doing. And to tell you that that was hurtful in the beginning is a truth. Then you start to judge yourself. So on Facebook, I don't really talk about her because we don't have a relationship, and I don't want to put something out there about the truth of how difficult our relationship is. I've come to peace with it through the spiritual space in myself. She needs her space to grow and become who she is. And right now, we don't vibrate the same. So it is completely with love and joy that I send her on her way. But at the same time, I'm not sitting there hoping, oh, is she going to come back? What is she? Because then I can't live my life. So I send me on my way and say, when and if we come together, we'll see what happens.
Well, and I also believe, ShaRon, that there are people in our lives that we love in spirit form, but not necessarily so much in the physical form. And I think it's that spirit to spirit connection where you can, in meditation or just in quiet time, send them all kinds of love and support, but you don't have to get caught up with what's happening in the physical realm with them.
Yes. And for me, Ruth, what I've helped other parents see that has helped me is we in this physical form have a lot of labels that define how we are expected to behave. And when we have the label of mother and daughter, there is an expectation of what that's supposed to look like. And when it doesn't look like that, there's a lot of judgment that comes on ourselves or our child or from society, questions. And if you can remove the label, then it fits very perfectly in what you said. There are people in the world that we want to hold close with our love, and there are people in the world that we have to love from afar. It's best for both of us. So I agree 1,000% with you. Now, I post on Facebook. I'm very active on social media, and people over the years have come to know me as the no judgment, just love lady, and the parenting coach woman, and the one who's going through her own stuff. This journey of getting divorced and creating a healthy co-parenting situation with my former husband, who, by the way, we're still like this. We haven't come together about what we agree on in the world, but we co-parent well because I have been able to respect both sides. And so I often, because Facebook is an interesting, and any of the social medias, Ruth, it's an interesting place. You can be behind a curtain and present whatever image you want, which is, I think, what you're talking about. Being spiritual means, oh, life and butterflies, everything's going to love everyone. I don't love everyone. I love the essence of everyone, but I don't need everyone around me, and they don't want me around them. But the people that I do want to create a healthy relationship with, I talk about that very clearly on Facebook. I say when I'm having a night of the soul, I'm on the sofa for 3 days in the fetal position, crying my eyes out. Because why did you make this choice? This is hard. Why don't you just go get a job? And bring the income in. Well, I've done that. And my soul was in knots in every job that I took because I didn't take it for my own growth. I took it because I needed money. And that only carries me now so far because I've opened up to why I'm really here. And yes, I was me in that job of insurance. I was me in that job of childcare. I was me in that job of the organization. So I presented love. I was growing and encouraging. But my soul said, we got something better for you. We got something more for you. Take that leap. We got you. Take that leap. And every time I took a leap, the confirmation, they got me. We're a team. And everyone on this team wants us to win, be victorious, achieve what we decided to achieve when we came down here, around here where we are.
So, ShaRon, do you think that you are fully standing in your soul's calling, or do you think that there's even more out there that's waiting for you?
I talk a lot in analogies when I'm answering questions like that. I feel like I'm at an enormous banquet with the most amazing food, and I can see the table and I know it's set for me. But the table goes around the corner and up the stairs. So yes, I'm sitting fully in why I know I'm here. And I have been blessed with confirming that, not only from my own knowing, but from other people sharing with me what they receive from me as a coach, as the founder of No Judgment, Just Love, as a mom, as a friend. But that table is not finite. That table is infinite with all the goodies I could possibly imagine. So I'm going to keep going. And I get full sometimes and I sit and take a break. But then, oh my, there's more. So yes, I know who I am. I know why I'm here. It could change. It could expand. And I hope it does, because I'm having so much fun.
I love that. So you talk about living life to the fullest. And you are living life to the fullest in connection with relationship with spirit. How much learning goes on for you? Are you still learning things from spirit and from living life?
Every second of every day, all the time. Sometimes those lessons are, oh, how wonderful. Like yesterday, I stood in my shower and I said, okay, Spirit, I'd like one new client today, please. One ideal, wonderful client. You can bring me more, but at least one. I went on about my day. I'm sitting having lunch with my daughter. My phone rings. I don't answer my phone if I don't know the number. I hear there's a voicemail. I go pick it up. Hi, ShaRon. This is the son of a woman that you knew 3 years ago. And I'm calling you now to see if you can help me in my relationship. Okay. What? And that happens all the time when I'm aware. Not every day, not as that clearly, but it happens all the time. Now that's the nice, okay, Spirit, thank you, you answered me. Well, I said, be careful what you ask for. So living every day and seeing a learning every day, that's where the bumpy ride comes. That's knock on the chin comes. That's where I'm falling out. So be careful what you ask for, because you will receive it and you will maybe not receive it how you think. So I have been asking to release this historical perspective of lack in all different kinds of ways. I am not going to make enough money. I can't make money as a coach. I have to be a softball player, or I have to be something that I traditionally know gets paid a lot. Money can't come from anywhere. It only comes from me working one-to-one. All of these things that cause lack. I have a 401k. I'm supposed to save it for retirement, but I need it and I can't take it. So that whole ding-dong thing going on in your head. So yesterday, my car is a 2003 yellow VW Bug. I've had it for 3 years. It came very miraculously and spiritually into my life. And yellow is the chakra of your solar plexus. And so it came to help me increase my confidence. I know this, but you know, like juicy fruit, if you've ever chewed juicy fruit, it's really sweet at the beginning. And then after a while, there's like no flavor. So this car has been sweet for 3.5 years. Now there's no flavor. So I need a new car. Well, where am I going to get money to buy a new car? Of course, I can manifest one to just drop in, but I also have to work with Spirit to say, okay, I am willing to take money out of that scary place, which is my 401k, so I can buy myself a car. Well, I can't tell you how long it took me to come to that comfort level with, oh my gosh. When I finally did it yesterday and asked, because there's a gatekeeper. This money is not just in the bank. I have to talk to my financial planner to get it. So there's courage there to go say, can I please have my money, which is silly. But still, there's that. I asked, he sent me an email. The email, when I read it yesterday, because I was still in that fear place, Ruth, I read it and heard him say, well, you know what you're asking for, the amount, you can get a car for less than that. And I heard in my soul, oh man, I'm being judged by how much money I'm taking out, that I'm taking it out. But because I've been doing this journey for a while, I knew that voice was spirit saying, it still got a little dust bunnies in there about lack. And here it is coming up. Yes, triggered by my financial person. But it wasn't him, because I read his email again today and he was like, yeah, whatever you want. Same words. But I yesterday heard it through that voice of lack that I'm now working with to go away, because we're all abundant. I'm meant to live here in beautiful freedom of abundance. And so that message is me still learning that not only I have more to do, there's a little bit more. It didn't come as hard as some of the other ones have come for this particular lesson, but it still wasn't comfortable. But I moved through it in a day instead of 6 months.
Yeah, that's great. So often it seems that those life lessons, those real life lessons that you keep getting over and over in different ways, that we work through them kind of in a spiral. And as we get it the first time, we kind of take off the outer layers, and then we get it again. And then we dig a little deeper. And that just might be one of the life lessons that you will continue to have until you really have worked all the way through it.
Yes, and just to finish that thought, because I like the spiral thought, because I've been using the onion and I don't like that analogy. But I'm learning now to not be mad at it, to not hate it, to not shun it, and just love it. It's like, oh, look at you. You want to come up and show me something. Thank you. I don't really need this anymore. So off you go. That's very different than being judgmental of myself, being angry, or worse, being angry at the guy who was sent the email when he didn't really do anything. It's just how I read it.
Right. And it does seem that the more you resist something, the more it sticks with you. So
Yes.
beautiful that you could embrace it and acknowledge it, see it for what it was, and say, okay, I got it. Thank you.
And that's the beauty of living in a spiritual way in this human earthly place. Because without those thoughts, Ruth, I don't know where I would get the tools to move through this the way that I have.
Right. ShaRon, if somebody wants to contact you about relationships or, personal counseling, how do they find you? How do they follow you, see what you're up to? How do they access your books? How can they contact you?
So many ways. My name is spelled S-H-A, capital R-O-N. So Sha and Ron, and the last name is Ria, R-E-A. So 3 S-H-A-R-O-N-R-E-A. And you can find that on my website, which is The Whole Family Coaching. There's a contact page. You can email me at ShaRon at thewholefamilycoaching.com. You can call me at 480-420-9551. 480-420-9551. Or you can also look for me on most of the social media places. LinkedIn, ShaRon Ria. Facebook, ShaRon Ria, The Whole Family, no judgment, just love. I'm accessible. I'm always here. Anytime I work with new clients, The Whole Family Coaching, and The Whole Family, the specialties are after divorce, creating a co-parenting workable situation. Even if the other parent isn't willing, you can still be an excellent co-parent. With teenagers, during that time, there's a lot of confusing and uncomfortable conversation because our kids are trying to become themselves. And we even like them to, but not really. We want them to stay little and wonderful. With single dads, I love being the woman on the other side because I have worked through my relationship with my former husband. So I know your value. I know that you may not see it as much as I do. So I love working there. Grandparents who are raising their children again because you thought you were done. And now you have a generational communication difficulty. So the whole family is the whole family, everyone. And then the message of no judgment, just love, it's a practice. Obviously we judge. That's what we do as humans. So I'm not asking you to do something that is impossible. But once you make that judgment, pause for a minute and breathe and bring in your GPS, which is your greatest personal shift. And then make a choice how you want to respond to the judgment about yourself or about others.
ShaRon, I love the work that you do. I love the love and lack of judgment that you're bringing into a world where there is so much judgment. So thank you for all that you're doing. And I'm getting with Divine Mother here that she appreciates the work that you're doing. So much love for you. So
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being with us here today.
So ShaRon, I'm still taking notes from everything that you said. I've got an entire page here of notes. And I just want to say to you that whatever you are doing in life right now, honestly, I think you're being underutilized. I want to see you everywhere. I want, literally, I've got goosebumps. I want Oprah Winfrey to watch this, and I want her to find you, and I want her to make you everything that you deserve to be, because the message is, I've got total goosebumps, like almost to the point that it hurts right now, because I have like bumper sticker after bumper sticker after t-shirt after book idea. There is so much written down here on this one page of things that you talked about, and I just think you're being underutilized. And I want to help support you in whatever way I can for you to get out there, because that's where you need to be.
Ruth, thank you sincerely. Your hope is my dream. I am ready, I believe, to be exactly that. And it is extremely confirming that you mentioned Miss Oprah, because when I first started this 5 years ago, I saw myself on a stage in a chair being interviewed by her. And here, with the 5 or so years of conditioning and learning and exposing and being courageous, I am ready. So thank you.
Well,
Let's do it, baby.
if there's
Ooh, now I got goosebumps all over my body.
Yeah, if there is anybody who is listening to this video that knows anybody who knows Oprah, please take this moment, take this risk to help ShaRon get this information to Oprah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, there are, make me a little emotional. There are 7.5 billion people on this planet, many of whom I am aware of just from the feeling that I get, the energy that I get when I absorb what I'm saying, because it comes out effortlessly now, and it comes out and people are wide-eyed at how this message will give them something that most of us have never experienced, and that is to be in this world not judged negatively for anything about ourselves, especially women in our heads. And so to have witnessed the people that I've worked with, and there have been hundreds of people that I've interacted with as a coach, or my friends, or my former husband, to be that comfy couch of no judgment, just love. You get to be whomever you are at this moment in my presence, free from any judgment by me to you. And to watch the transformation of people sitting in that beautiful space of that comfy couch and sob or get inklings of who they could possibly become is a gift and precious to me.
ShaRon, one of the bumper stickers that I wrote down here is, I really would like to live fully
Yes.
before I die. Holy cow. Holy cow. So many people, myself included, although I feel like I really am. I mean, my family gives me the depth and the breadth and the width to be able to do these things. But how many people will go through their lives with never feeling like they've lived fully?
Yes.
But even to put words to that, because I didn't have the words for that until you said them, and then I could sit back and go, oh yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing. And that's what so many people want, is that permission to do that.
Correct. And for me, those words, thank you for that bumper sticker, are very different than the words we've heard in a song, live like you're dying. That's not motivating to me. Like, live fully in this moment right now. What does, I get goosebumps again. What does that mean for you individually, different from everyone else? We're like the beautiful tapestry right behind you, Ruth. We're all here to become part of this universal loveliness. And when we're outside of who we are, we can't fit into our spot in the tapestry of humanity.
You know, it reminds me of, I've got all these different quilts and I'm having fun putting them all up depending on what the feeling is that day. But it makes me think of someone who came into the world and they were supposed to be gold thread, but they saw everybody else being green thread and they thought, okay, well, apparently it's safer to be green, so I'm going to be green thread. Well, then all you have is this wall covering of green thread, and there's no gold and there's no pink and there's no blue, and it's all green. Wow, what a lost opportunity.
Yes. Yes. And if you just allow things to come at you from this world, it's very difficult to even have an inkling that you're something different other than green. You absolutely, because I remember there's a before ShaRon and an after ShaRon, and I really thought I'm living fully who I am. But that just little door that says life happens not to you, it happens for you, gives you a whole nother perspective to say, if this is happening for me, how can I respond differently? And with no judgment, just love, I can try new things. I can experiment and not worry if it is uncomfortable or if it is new.
Another bumper sticker right there. One of the other things that you said, ShaRon, was living a spiritual life is not for sissies.
I can see the hilarity of that one on a bumper sticker.
That's a t-shirt right there.
That's a t-shirt, yes.
And you're right. It's not for sissies. It's hard work, and it is letting go of barriers you didn't even know that you had, but that are holding you nice and tight. It's stretching yourself. It is taking those risks day after day and conversation by conversation. It's hard work.
And as a hummingbird just flew right into my window.
Aw.
And he was big. He was about that big. Love it.
Okay.
He didn't fly into it and hurt himself. He just flew and hovered for a little bit.
Okay, Terry Angel, before we take the next group, I want you to look up hummingbird spiritual animal meaning. Okay?
Yes. Thank you, Terry, you angel. It's difficult as you get started, but when you have the willingness or the sense of experimentation, is this going to work? Is this not? How does this fit in my life? And you get confirmation that every day something is a miracle. Every day something shows you this is a team effort. Then it becomes easier to branch out, easier to ask, show me what's next, because there's an awareness that what's next might in 2 years ago have been very difficult. Now it's like, okay, I can do this. It might be a little challenging, but I can do this.
That's true. The skill set just grows incrementally on itself. I mean, I find myself learning things I had no intention of, but now I use them every day.
Absolutely. And I apologize, I don't remember her name, but a few interviews ago, a woman was speaking about having to take a test in college.
Yep.
And she didn't know any of what she was going to be tested on, and it just appeared for her. So I love that comment that she made, because it helps me shift from learning, which requires some effort on your part to memorize, to think, to allowing. All of this that we need is already here. And for us to open the door, crack the window, be willing to allow it in, it's an amazing opportunity to, just like you said, Ruth, there are things I didn't know that I already know that I can just include in this journey that I'm in.
Right. And the person who said that was Dr. Heather Harder.
Yes, that's her name.
Author of Many Were Called, Few Were Chosen. Exactly right.
Thank you, Dr. Heather.
Yes. So Terry, two things. Number one, I'd love to hear what's happening with our Facebook friends. But secondly, what did that hummingbird have to tell us?
Oh,
Wait,
she's muted.
muted.
Yeah.
Let me unmute.
Okay, you're unmuted.
Okay, good. Yes. First of all, thank you, ShaRon. Oh my God, you've touched my heart. The hummingbird. In Native American culture, hummingbirds are seen as healers and bringers of love, good luck, and joy. In Central America, they are a sign of love and will bring love to the person who spots them. I love that. ShaRon, I used to live in Arizona, as you know, and my neighbor had a tree where the hummingbirds would build their nests. And so I was always surrounded by them. And they're just a spectacular sight to see. And especially to see them up close, like it came through your window, just for you to see it. I love that.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. So we have a really good group that is participating today and listening to you, and so many beautiful comments. We haven't had any questions for you yet, but we have a lot of people that are resonating with your words and really feeling what you're saying personally, because many of us have been through some of these experiences. And so I just want to share a few of these comments, but I know you'll go into the group later and, reply to these comments and see all these beautiful words to you. Deb Goldberg says, I'm loving your story, ShaRon. I so relate to your process. Stephanie Stafford says, a very energetic lady that is ready to help families. Well appreciated, my dear ShaRon.
Aww.
Karen Palmer says, modeling courage and being your Maggie self. Yay, ShaRon. I love that. Let me just pick a couple more. So I posted in there in the group that as you know, we have talked about being estranged from children, and I can relate to that myself. And I'm so glad that you came to terms with it, and that it took me many years to come to terms with it as well. And Mary Goff says, me too, Terry. Thank you for sharing from your heart, ShaRon. And Deb Goldberg says, you have no idea how I needed to hear this today. Thank you. Let's see. Ivana Morano is on. She says, thank you for sharing what my soul has been telling me for so long.
Oh, yay.
And Maria says she could listen to you for days.
Hi, Maria.
And we all as a group agree that you should go viral and you should be interviewed by Oprah or Ellen or whoever can put the message out there. And so, Ruth and I privately had communicated that we should set an intention for that to happen. And I think, as we all know, where two or more gathered, our energy is elevated. So let's all do that right now. Let's set the intention that the message that ShaRon Ria has will go viral. And whatever means, by whatever media can make that happen, it's going to happen. It's going to come. And so it is. And amen.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Yes. Thank you, because no judgment, just love world. Can you imagine what that feels like, looks like, is? We are creative with our solutions. We are tender with each other. We allow the unconditional space for everyone to exist.
So ladies, I want to share with you this. I looked up spiritanimals.com and it says, in this case, hummingbird symbolism is reminding you that it is time for you to pursue your dreams more aggressively. By doing this, you will make them a reality. In other words, joy is just around the corner.
Yay!
Yay!
I like that. So I'm ready. I'm willing. Show me. I'm boots on the ground, ready to go. May I share this last little, first of all, this book, For No Judgment, Just Love, is on Amazon. It is a coloring journal book. And if you see, there's no judgment for how you color because there's a left-handed version and a right-handed version. And in it, every day and in every way, I am doing my absolute best. So there is no judgment, just love for me and you and all the rest.
ShaRon, that's very perfect. That's a beautiful way to end our segment today. Terry, thank you so much for being with our friends over in Facebook world over there. And ShaRon, a million thank yous for your vulnerability, for your authenticity, and for the love that you are sharing with all of us and modeling for us how to make ourselves a valuable part of our own families. What a beautiful gift. So
thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
Friends, tomorrow is day 16 of our 31 days, and our guest is Niobe Weaver. We're going to be on Facebook Live at 12 o'clock noon Mountain Time tomorrow. So everybody have a beautiful rest of your weekend, and God bless you all.